Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 24th of July. My name is Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary PM.
And Gary, we're in the thick of winter. It couldn't be colder really, could it?
It is very cool, isn't it? Very fresh. If you're a husky dog, Philly, you'd be very happy in this sort of weather, wouldn't
Yes,
you?
and no doubt those Buller skiers and the Mount Hotham skiers are just relishing in the ski season.
Is it a good season? You usually know about that sort of thing, no?
I haven't skied in Buller for a long time,
You're
Gary.
a good skier, though.
Your
wife's better, but you're not
There's
better.
no question she's a better skier than I am.
And your boys are better as well.
They're all better.
But you're better than me.
Everybody that goes up there is better than me, but I'm a pretty good skier.
You are good.
You goes to show the standard of those people up the slopes must be incredible.
You know, I'm just thinking, I'm looking at your nose and you've actually had a little bit of work done there.
Yes.
I reckon, is there ever going to be an episode where both of us have got a clear face? What happened to us? You know, I reckon our parents cursed us with our skin tone. It's not fair, is it?
Only were we tragically born with pale, fair skin. That fair and pale is failed skin.
Exactly. We found each other.
Skin.
Failed, pale.
We were born with failed, pale skin.
Yep.
But I've got to go back to the dermatologist next week. There's more stuff that's got to go. So
from the facial region or anything else?
So
it's a good time.
Viewers, it's a good time. Get yourself,
get yourself
ready for summer.
Yeah, it's a good time for you because you haven't had that many auctions, so you haven't been in the public eye. But I looked over the other day and you had some big thing hanging off your nose. I didn't know if you knew it was there, but anyway.
Seems to be a reoccurring theme, this doesn't it, Gary? That we keep talking about what's going on with our faces.
It's not fair, is it? That's what happens,
Phil. I would have loved to have been born with olive skin.
Yep, you get a bit older and that's what goes on. Now, Phil, talking about
all of those olive skin people that are watching the show, you don't know how lucky you are.
Theme of the week, Phil. Yes. Has the market plummeted or is it just the volume that's plummeted?
Well, the answer to that is very clear, very clear. It's a no-brainer for me. It's the volume that's plummeted. Having said that, the market, there's no question, has taken a deep breath. You only need to open up the Financial Review or the Australian or the Age newspaper or go online. They're all talking about.
But the news is worse than what we see. You know, you get the headlines. The headlines are negative. Yet we've had 5 auctions on the weekend.
That was your segue, Gary.
Yeah,
5 out of 5,
and 5 out of 5.
Clearance.
Give me 5 because there were 5 happy vendors. 5 happy.
Worst high five I think on the history of high fiving.
I didn't want to get in the way of your nose. 5 happy buyers, 5 happy sellers, a few unhappy underbidders who will help get something else, Philip. But
do you know what? If you just looked at those 5 that we sold, and of course we're going to multiple bidders, competitive bidding, some significant over reserve price sales.
Yes.
So viewers, let's summarise the market by saying this: we have had the most mother of all property booms over the last 5 years.
And it was fun, wasn't it?
Even with the market taking the edge off, coming off, reducing, falling slightly. Those that bought 3, 4, 5 years ago are sitting on massive capital gains. But it's the volume that's dropped away dramatically.
If you look at history, like different eras, it's like we lived in the era. The last few years, like the decadent era, it was like Caligula, wasn't it? It was like the Caligula for real estate agents of decadence, of great sales, of volume, of buyers.
Caligula.
It was Caligula of property booms.
Did you wake up with a dead horse in your bed?
No, it was like it was too much. Is what I'm trying to illustrate. Maybe it was the most appropriate way of saying it, but it was like
I don't think anybody has ever described a property market as the Caligula of all property.
Maybe not. It was like the Roman decadent era where images of people eating grapes.
There's something seriously wrong going on at your place.
I think I'm watching the wrong movies at the moment, Phil. Anyway, it has been an incredible time in the market, and I think we go back into a more normal market. But I got to say, Phil, 5 out of 5, 100% clearance. 100%. That is a sign of a healthy market.
Get those towers
up. What's the industry rate?
61% for the industry, which back into reasonable territory.
Exactly right.
I think the market's chugging along.
But there's no 61% of Gary Pilder stage. No. We're 100%. We've got a nice little broom. We shovel it along.
That's off the back of a good result last week as well, and the week before, and the week before, and the week before, and the week before.
And we'd go into last year.
Consistent themes. I know, Stephen. You've heard it all before. Bit of a shout out to you. I know it's
Stephen. Is that who watches it? Is that who we? Bit of a boast. Is that who we put the show on for? Is it for Stephen?
There's many Stephens that do watch the show, but I think that Stephen that knows when we're talking about these boasts knows which Stephen it is.
And Stephen's rolling his eyes, saying, "Oh, here they go again." Anyway, we've got to be proud of that. And proud of our team. Well done, team. Some great results. A bit of a spread, Philip, of areas and prices.
Sorry though to see the back of July though. Quite frankly,
it is. Won't miss it.
It is one of the coldest months of the year, and it has been one of the lowest volume months in the real estate year and the calendar for years.
And the history of our business, Philip. It's been a miserable cold past head around.
Might have to sell the Ferrari, Gary.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the convertible workable Ferrari. We'll keep the hard top, of course, but I'll get rid of the convertible.
Oh, no, terrible, because you really own it, don't you? And you really got a Ferrari. But anyway,
would you buy a Ferrari?
Well, look, firstly, there's no such thing as buy. We've never bought a car in our lives. We've only ever leased
Thank
them.
you. A bit of a shout out to the National Australia Bank that on a monthly basis does let us, both of us, drive our cars. We have been at an auction occasionally when our cash flow is tight and we've seen a tow truck coming down the street.
Yes. It's interesting to see the bottom of the car as you sort of see it go past with the tow truck, isn't it?
It's embarrassing at the middle of the auction with the tow truck with the Range Rover goes through the middle of the crowd.
But you don't get to see the angle of the car like that often, do you? We actually see it from tyres up at eye level.
But would you buy a Ferrari?
Look, at the moment I wouldn't buy anything, except I'd buy real estate, Philip, because I have ultimate faith in the property market. It will pick up and go forward again in terms of volume, but I reckon...
We've got a Ferrari driving client, and a bit of a shout out to our Ferrari driving client, Jeff, who I've got to tell you is quite an attractive man in real life, right?
Yeah, looks good. He's lost a lot of weight.
You wouldn't say he's great looking,
but
but he's reasonable.
Yeah,
like he's a good solid, I don't know, 7 out of 10.
Smile, yes.
Solid 7 out of 10. When he gets into his Ferrari, he goes to a 9.5.
Exactly right. He's Warren Beatty, isn't he? He goes all the way there. Phil, let's just talk, we're babbling again. Let's talk about our auctions and what's been going on. Philip, we started off in Hotham Street, East St Kilda. That was sold for $625,000. But Philip, it gets exciting in Arthur Street because I went down there and checked out Jeremy Rosen,
who, of course, is one of our absolutely gun auctioneers. Does a great job. Runs out of our St Kilda office, but sells right across Melbourne.
And Phil, he was having a little party in Arthur Street, him and the team.
Well, a shout out to Daniel, because Daniel is a bit of an
which one? There's a lot of Daniels.
Daniel Michmacher in our St Kilda office.
Skinny, we call him.
Who is doing a phenomenal job in Arthur Street. He had a lot of success there.
He lost 30 Ks or something ridiculous. It's unbelievable. But Phil,
had to buy a whole new wardrobe of suits.
I know, he did. Phil, 6 Arthur Street, I must say, the price expectation there was somewhere between $820,000 and $900,000. Lo and behold, the first bid was in excess of that. It was on the market immediately.
First bid,
and wow, what an auction. Something like 5 bidders and others that didn't get a chance to put their hand up. $1,105,000. So well done to Mr. Rosens and Mr. Michmacher and all of the team that were there.
So it goes to show, doesn't it? You know, solid, like just, I mean, that price is a really good, solid price.
I'm just looking at your sleeves compared to mine. I think mine are sticking out a bit too much.
Yeah, Gary, there's not one thing about your dress sense that that is a standout.
Talking about dress sense, by the way, you said I didn't bring you anything back. It's unrehearsed and you're unknown. You said, here we have something that I've actually brought you back from overseas, from Italy. There you go, Phil. So don't say I don't look after you. Something to keep
Missoni.
I was going to buy you a Missoni suit, but instead I got you
Missoni socks.
I thought you'd like that.
You know what? This is actually a very nice gift.
There you go.
Who doesn't love socks?
Yes.
And then Missoni. Who doesn't love Missoni?
That's what I thought.
Wow.
And it came from the Missoni store in Italy.
4 pairs of socks. So let's just review this for a second.
I think let's move on to our next auction.
You had a month off. A month. Where'd you go? You went to Sicily and the Amalfi Coast,
Milan,
Rome, and you took a month.
Lake Como.
And by the way, this was not a.
Wasn't a month.
Wasn't a 28-day month. It wasn't a 29-day month. It wasn't even the 30-day month. It was a 31-day month.
It was a week of conferencing.
And I get socks.
Look, it's more than one per week. It's one per week I was away.
There's no question, viewers. They are Missoni socks, but they're not Missoni. It's not a full set of Missoni towels.
No.
It's not a Missoni jacket.
It's a pair of socks for each week I was away. Aren't you upset I wasn't away for longer now?
It's Missoni socks. You know, and you know what? The shape of this box, you know what that is? That's the hazard sign.
Hazardous chemicals, hazardous chemicals.
So that's what I get for 4 weeks away.
Well, we'll keep your feet nice and warm. Anyway, look, the good news is you have a whole new opportunity, because I'm going away again soon, but you'll have a whole new opportunity. Let's talk about Thomas Street in Brighton, East Phillip, because interestingly enough, went up for auction, didn't sell. Vendor, who is in the real estate business, said, I like you, Leora, I trust Gary Peel Associates, I'm going to let you auction it a second time for us. Lo and behold, we've auctioned a second time, Philip, and rock your socks, your new Missoni socks, sold for $1,780,000. Well done, Leora.
Big crowd there, by the way. Two good, solid bidders there, Gary. So it just goes to show, if your team at Gary Peel Associates is enthused, which we always are, we will stick with the property until it gets sold. And certainly, what a standout outcome. A good result for the Samuel brothers, and congratulations to the vendors.
Have faith. use it, don't lose it, Philip. And we didn't, the vendor didn't lose faith in us, and neither did we, them or their property. Emma Street, well, that sold for $790,000 on Sunday.
Yep.
And Philip,
good real estate. I love that sort of real estate, Gary.
How did your auctions go on the weekend, by the way?
Gary, had a lovely weekend watching Netflix, as I'm prone to do now on the weekend when I'm not auctioning properties. And I've got to tell you, the new show, Grey Zone. If you want to watch a great show, Grey Zone.
You're a bit of a series addict, aren't you?
I am.
Phil, 32 Flower
Netflix
Street.
Binging. I think that one's on iView.
32 Flower Street, Philip, was very competitive. Joel Sir and Daniel Fisher did an awesome job in handling that sale.
Again, another competitive auction, Gary. Another property selling over reserve price.
It did. The range was $1,050,000.
Lovely testimonial from those vendors.
And they are
already
delightful vendors.
Yep.
Range $1,050,000 to $115,000. Sold with 3 bidders, Philip, at $1,207,000. So lo and behold, and rock your new socks, Phil, there is plenty of buyers out there.
Yep,
plenty of buyers.
There are.
I don't know, sellers, where are you? Because there's buyers waiting to jump.
So viewers, let's again summarise the market for those sellers that are currently on the market. If their expectations are realistic, they've got their head around what is a newer market, not the old market. Anybody that comes to the market today,
that's confusing too. What new old?
So the new market, Gary, is that 2018 prices are different to 2017
not always.
prices.
Some of them are more, Phil. Some are just as good. Some are more. But yes,
on balance, wouldn't you say? Market's come back a little bit.
It has come back a bit.
What do you reckon it's come back by?
I reckon maybe 5%, maybe maybe 5%. Some properties
5
maybe
to 10%.
a bit more, maybe 10. But
10% would be about it.
But yet, you wouldn't have got more for Flower Street probably last year.
And that's the thing, isn't it?
That's the thing, exactly. Arthur Street, I don't reckon that's probably gone back. So it's a little bit funny to read, hard to read, but still solid.
I reckon the area of the market that's certainly solid is that 900 to 1,415 space.
That tends to be. I think you're right. That is a very hot area, and good apartments, Phil, are selling really well. Good established apartments.
We've had a number of those where we've got standout results, particularly in those larger 60s and 70s apartments.
400 and 700 range, Phil. That's a bit of a hot spot.
And the ones that we've seen really fly, the bigger 60s and 70s apartments that we used to be selling 700 to 800, we've now been selling them 800 to $1 million.
That's true too. That's true too. So
it's all good.
So for those that are confused, wondering whether the market's okay or not, we see yes, there has been some correction in pricing, but still plenty of demand out there, and buyers will jump at good opportunities.
Gary, our last weekend of July is upon us. What have we got for the weekend that's coming up?
There's 5 auctions this weekend, Philip. We've got a very, very busy Sunday. And guess what's happening on Saturday?
Tell me.
Absolutely nothing, Phil. You can have a little sleep in on Saturday if you want to. Not an auction this Saturday, but Sunday action-packed, Phil. And it's funny, isn't it?
Saturday, you say there's not a lot of action, but we'll have lots of properties open for inspection, Gary. The team will be out and about, regardless of the weather. There'll be lots happening. Just won't be any auction.
And some of the opens are getting very good numbers too. I just wanted to draw the viewers' attention to that too, Philip. So just in case there's this feeling of kind of down and nothing going on, there's plenty going on. Sunday, 5 auctions, Philip. We start off on Sunday morning at 10:30. I have got the absolute privilege of auctioning this terrific-looking property in Hotham Street, St Kilda.
You do, Gary. This one's created a lot of buyer interest, a lot of activity, because it's a very large ground floor apartment with a wraparound courtyard garden, Gary. Unusual because it's 3 bedrooms, beautifully renovated. That kitchen is just a standout as the bathroom situation set up there. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, but courtyard, balcony, plenty of parking.
And part of the East St Kilda groove, Gary. So that will go well, I would anticipate.
So come along, enjoy a coffee at 10:30 on Saturday.
Sunday morning.
It says Saturday on Sunday, and spark up your Sunday with a great auction to start the day with. Philip, we're going to be in Bundeera Road, one of the fine streets of Caulfield South.
Gary, well, this is a unique offering because this offers the market 2 things that the market's always looking for. They're looking for land always, but they're always looking for a permit where all the hard work's been done.
You just can't get a permit out
and that's absolutely the case, Gary. So 2 fabulous 2-storey town residences here have been designed brilliantly. Therefore, the hard work's been done. The land's been got. If there is such a grammatical expression. The land's been got, the permit's been got, and it goes to the market, 52 Bundeera Road, a wonderful position.
Now you're talking my language, Phil. Okay, you're talking my language.
Yes.
Phil, we move on to Begonia Road in Gardenvale Road. This could be Begonia by 1:30. The auction's at 12:30. take us through that one,
Gary. What a magnificent property. It's been beautifully designed and it is completely and utterly stunning. Check out the bathroom, check out the kitchen. This is a beautiful property of 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, a double lock-up garage. It's got everything that opens and shuts. And we love Elstonwick, we love Begonia Road. It really doesn't get any better than that.
You have the auction honours there, Philip, one of your 4 auctions. That's auction number 2. You're going to be heading back, and I'm going to be tracking you on Sunday. I'm going to be tracking you and chasing you and following and pursuing you, Phil.
Good.
At 1:30, we're going to be in Lucan Street, round the corner from our office,
Gary,
Phil.
Lucan Street's one of our favourite addresses,
Sure
and
is.
this is a great opportunity because it represents a good home that you can move straight into. It sits on a wonderful parcel of land, so you've got lots of opportunity. It's also zoned correctly for development, so lots of opportunity there, Gary. A lot of interest in the house there, as there should be, because it's a home, as I said, that you can move straight into, but certainly a home that you could further update. So a really, really good property.
And that hopefully will be sold at 1:30. If anyone can, you can in Lucan, Phil.
Lucan. Well, we love Lucan Street, Gary.
We
One of our earliest sales was in Lucan Street when we set up the business in 1986.
Yep.
I don't think even then our voices had broken when we opened the
Probably
business.
not, Phil. We probably had healthy, beautiful tans at that stage of our life. Anyway, we're looking forward to that one, Phil, in Lucan Street, a terrific address. We move on, Philip, to close out the day in Vadler Avenue. Now, this is a quality address. Very exciting.
Gary, this is a quality address. In fact, it's one of the most beautiful addresses in Melbourne. Secondly, it's a fantastic house. It's such a good house that Fairfax, the publisher of the Age newspaper, decided to put it on front page of Saturday's Domain, the glossy magazine.
Yes, a big spread
so
there,
about
Phil.
500,000 Melbourne people saw that over the weekend.
Daniel Fisher's lovely punim included there,
you know,
which is terrific.
You've got, that was front page together with an editorial inside, as it should be. We've got 755 square metres of land on a corner, and the house is just completely stunning.
Well, we shot GPTV from there last week, Phil.
Renovated a couple of times, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, double lock-up garage, incredible back garden complete with in-ground trampoline. This is a property that it's just a delight from all aspects, whether you be in the street, whether you've been in any of the rooms. Lots of opportunity there, Gary, and a wonderful parcel of land.
It sure is. Nicely wrapped up there, Phil. Before we move on to the home of the week, Phil, I think it's incumbent that I talk about footy for a minute.
Incumbent.
We're
going to bring this up.
How is that game on Saturday night?
I've got to tell
Melbourne
you,
Geelong. It's one of the most exciting. Did you watch it?
Of course I watched it.
Did you go?
No.
Why
It's
did
down
you
at
go?
Cardinia Park. Who goes down to get the
my mate Michael went down there.
House of Pain.
And what happened to you? You got punched. You got your head punched in after the game too. Did you see that? There was a fight.
That was terrible.
That was terrible.
But yeah, Melbourne supporters, we just cannot pull a trick.
I mean, you were so far ahead.
This was
the
going to
whole
be
game.
the reality is, if Melbourne hadn't have dropped the games that they should have won this year, it would actually be either second or third on the ladder. No, we'd be absolutely firmly entrenched as either number 2 or number 3. Now, all I can say is the only winners out of this, other than those filthy, dirty, rotten Geelong supporters, but the only winners out of this are, of course, the AFL, that just love to see football played like that.
Oh, that was great.
Games being won on the siren by Irishmen kicking at goals. I mean, bring out all of your worst Irish jokes, but this guy just came through and nailed it.
Yeah, where'd he come through from, by the way? Do you know?
Yeah, he was a Carlton player, was he?
Zach Tui was up there with Bryce Gibbs and with, what's his name, Jeffy Garland, all the champions that we've given away, and said to Eddie Betts, we didn't need any of those guys, Phil, because we're just doing fine without them. Just doing fine.
We're in the rebuild, Gary. You're rebuilding and rebuilding. Melbourne's been in a rebuild since 1964. But having said that, it was the most amazing game of football to watch.
I've got to tell you, Philip, on Sunday, look, I've never cried at a football game before, but I just about cried watching Carlton at Hawthorn. We are so bad at Carlton.
Well, did you hear Alistair Clarkson came out and gave your coach a really big rap, saying, listen, just give him space, give him time.
Give him some players with skill. It would help.
Speaking of amazing, because you did bring up the word amazing, Gary, we are in the most amazing
Still love
property.
Carlton, but go on, talk about
Have a look at this house in George Street.
Yes.
So George Street really is in the centre of Caulfield North, walking distance to everywhere you want to be.
Yep.
Congratulations to the developer here, who just nails it again. This is a man that every property that he's ever done that we've been associated with, he has just raised the standard, raised the benchmark, every property that he does. But this one, whether you be looking from the outside, looking on the inside, whether you even be standing in the garage in this property, you could eat your dinner off the floor. But this is a property that I think has set a new barometer, a new benchmark of what's possible.
It's brand new, Phil. Brand new, sparkles and shimmies.
But Gary, the attention to detail, the textures, the finishes, the lighting, the barbecue area, the landscaping, the splashbacks, the mirror finishes here, it is just incredible. I've done the video tour here, Gary. I love it. If you want to go online and have a look at George Street online, please do so. But this home is really, it's everything. Everything you'd ever want.
Some viewers, Phil, and of course we have a national and international audience, don't forget that, Phil. Some viewers might say George Street, Caulfield, where was George Street? Never heard of it before.
Tiny, tiny little street, Gary, but it is really in the epicentre of Caulfield North. It also abuts the corner of Princes Street. Yes. So you're really in the most fantastic location. But this house sets new standards, both from an architectural point of view, from an interior design point of view. Certainly, I think it's just a standout property.
It's just tucked away here behind Oron Crescent, Philip. Of course, you've got that prestige apartments right around the corner. We've got, of course, the fantastic cafes just a moment or two away. This is an extraordinary and exceptional opportunity, Philip. And I mean, the amount of time it would take to buy the land and build something like this, and to get it right like this. If anybody's out there looking for something that is absolutely extraordinary, come to number 2 George Street, Caulfield North. Philip, it goes to auction on Sunday week at 1:30 p.m. and I know we are all excited. Our team, Darren, Sally, Daniel, all the team, and you and me are all rapt about this one, Philip. So 2 George Street, make it a priority to come and see something out of the box, something incredible.
Viewers, let's talk about spring, Gary. Let's wrap this up with a talk about spring. We are well and truly in spring, even though it feels like the depths of winter, and it is actually the middle of winter. But we're talking spring because if you were to ring us tomorrow, even today, you're talking about a spring sale now, Gary. So we're listing now for September, October, November, and 2018.
We are working with our clients to pick the eyes out of the spring dates because, of course, you have got some things that get in the way. But you've got the grand final, and you've got the school holidays, the school holidays. You've got the Derby Day and
racing
weekend,
calendar,
the racing calendar. You've got all of those sorts of things going on. So if you're wanting to sell any time this year now, please speak to us because we will make sure that we pick the absolute best date. Philip, that's a big wrap of the marketplace out there. A 100% clearance rate, a exciting time in the market. The volume's down, but the demand is still high. Properties are still selling, and certainly there are opportunities for buyers and sellers who like to take advantage of the rest of winter and the rest of the year.
Longest wrap.
You say that every week when I wrap up, but that is a wrap, Philip. That's what's going on in the world of real estate. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. I'm Gary Peer.
Still going. I'm Philip Kingston. Have a great week.